Hello, everybody. Thanks so much for hanging out here with me. My name is Alex Castillejo. This is Just Be Blessed. We share people's testimonies and I've left the messages and how God is good. Today, I have a special guest, Eric Camarillo. Okay. And he is the director, president, the head guy from SALT Ministry, SALT Outreach Ministry. And we're going to find out more about that ministry because let me tell you, that ministry helps homeless people with food, with mail from taking a shower inside the trailer. And we're going to find out more about that. There are different locations in Florida, and I don't know, different parts in the United States, but we're going to find out more about the story. But let me tell you, Brother Eric, he has a testimony because before he is the head of this ministry, he was very into about breakdancing. Okay. And he was very like going to, with groups, with teams, and dancing. And we're gonna find out more about that. And also, I found out that he was very into about gaming, playing video games and everything, like a top notch, like really top. So we're gonna find out all this stuff, and we're gonna find out how God changed his life and called him to be part of an amazing ministry to help other people. Because let me tell you, he was homeless one time in his life too. All right, so let's welcome Brother Eric here in Just Be Blessed. How you doing, brother? Welcome to Just Be Blessed.
Hey, brother Alex, thank you for having me.
Totally. I'm excited to come to know you more. I had the privilege to meet you, to just to hang out, talk a little bit. And we know we always talk about ministry, how it's going. I mean, some updates about stuff. Uh, but tonight, I'm sure it was the Holy Spirit. And it's like, connect with Brother Eric and just ask him about, do you have a testimony to share? And you're like, oh, yeah, brother, I'll be happy to share my story. So, with the little description that you shared with me, I mean, I was surprised. I was like, wow. Uh, and I cannot wait to hear your story. But here in Just Be Blessed, it's kind of casual. It's kind of like
Yeah,
you sitting down on the couch, and then it's kind of like, I want to come to know you, kind of like tell me your story. So the first question that I ask is, how was home? Where do you grow up? I mean, you have a cool last name, Camarillo, and we're gonna find out where you're from or your
yeah,
parents, and how was home? How was mom and dad? You grew up in a Christian home. Tell us.
yeah. Um, yeah. When growing up, I grew up in Chicago. I was born in Chicago, grew up in
Okay.
Chicago. It was right in the city. Then we moved to suburbs right next to the city. Growing up and stuff like that. Yeah, I know. It was a pretty dangerous neighborhood. Every time. Yeah, there were times where my dad had you know, offered to teach me how to ride a bike, and I wanted to learn how to ride a bike.
Hmm.
But at night we'll hear gunshots and things like that.
Oh,
So he never taught me. So I actually to this day, fun fact, have not don't know how to ride a bike. That's something I'm gonna have to learn eventually. But it was just kind of one of those neighborhoods. We ended up moving away from Chicago because of I was held at gunpoint, and so my family wanted to move away, and that's why we ended up in Florida. But yeah, home life was interesting. It was tough growing up. My dad was diagnosed with schizophrenia when I was in second grade.
mm,
So you'd hear things, you'd see things. That's where I got Camarillo from. My dad, he's Mexican. My
oh,
mom's Filipino.
okay.
Um, but yeah, he came down with that illness, and it was really tough on our family.
Mm,
The doctor had told me and my brothers, hey, don't admit to hearing or seeing the things he's hearing or seeing. Because it'll make him worse. So because we were told that, every time he would mention hearing something or seeing
mm,
something that really wasn't there, we would deny it, and he'd get angry, and it would lead to physical abuse.
mm,
And so we had to go through that for man until I was able to fight back. When I was
oh,
16. But we didn't grow up in a Christian household. I was it was well, we were Catholic by name. We would go through like the traditions,
Mm,
going, that kind of thing. But
yeah,
there wasn't really a relationship with God in the
yeah.
household. Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, it's very sad because I mean he was dealing with that situation. The I mean, schizophrenia, and sometimes people react not having that control. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and then type of problems happen with where you living around, or maybe job that don't pay you good, or
Right.
something problem at home or something. I mean, can you imagine on top of that? I mean, you have your normal problems. I mean, I'm sure it was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. I mean, you could imagine? I tell people, just imagine living your life, and all you hear are voices that are saying they want to kill you, or they want to, that they're calling you names. They're
mm,
making fun of you.
mm,
And it's almost nonstop. You know what I
yeah,
mean? You can't turn it off. Medicine helps once in a while, and then it stops working. I mean, it was torture. It was torture, man, and it's still affecting him today. Um, and I can't imagine, you know, um, having to go through that myself. You know what I mean?
mm,
So yeah, it's been tough for him, and I do, I love my dad. You know what I mean? And obviously we went through a really hard childhood and stuff like
mm,
that. But I mean,
mhm,
when yeah, just mental illness, man. I mean, it's a real thing, man.
mm,
It'll affect families, it'll affect
mhm,
relationships, and
yeah,
I'm grateful that it didn't um lead me. I'm thankful that I ended up finding God, not
yeah,
and really finding my relationship with God, and
yeah,
connecting with Him, and because that is, I feel, what's helped me heal from that experience. You know what I mean? So
interesting. So that was growing up, right? In that kind of home set. So how was those teenage years? Those teen years that sometimes it's like it can be crazy. It can be like, wow, that was my first time doing drugs or doing things, whatever. Or how was those teen years? I know you told me you grew up in Chicago, but uh, you were not practicing, religion or relationship with Jesus. So how was those teenage years?
yeah, so I when I started middle school in Chicago area, and then high school. I was there my freshman year. My sophomore year I ended up moving to Florida, but
Mm,
in Chicago I started to learn how to break dance. So that was kind of one of my escapes, is breakdancing. So I go online and see the little tutorials and the videos, and I try
mm,
to teach myself, and I don't know. I just felt like it was an escape for me. So I just did that. That's what I did, and I learned. It was good exercise and that kind of thing too. And so I ended up moving to Florida. When I moved to Florida, um, I remember it was my sophomore year, near the beginning of my sophomore year, in a place called Claremont. And I'm walking through the hallway, and I see a guy in front of me that's in one of my classes, and and he has a breakdancing figure on his backpack. So it got us to start talking,
mhm,
and then in class we just started breakdancing when the teacher wasn't around, and we just and then we started a crew, that was called Motion Sickness in high school,
mm,
and we would just breakdance anywhere we could. We started to enter tournaments and different go in different shows and things like that.
wow.
And honestly, I think um, it was it was a good experience in that it helped me to stay away from things that maybe I could have gotten deeper into, that I didn't, because I and that's just how I am. I mean, when people know me, when I dedicate myself to something, I put my all into it. You know what I mean? And so, breakdancing was that thing for me at that time, and I put my all into it. And that's just where my tunnel vision was, you know. And honestly, looking back now, what I did is I would make different things gods in my life, and that's why I would give my all to it. You know what I mean? That's why I'd always be thinking about it 24/7. I'd always be
Mhm.
trying to do something with, you know what I mean? Like that's just the way that I work and the way that I'm wired, you know.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, a lot of my teenage, you know, we skipped school a lot. One thing that happened that was crazy, that another thing that I didn't even give on my little summary to you of what
Mhm.
crazy things that happened to me. So I, man, this is a crazy story. So you know, I'm graduating from high school, right? Because of the breakdancing, I skipped school so many times. I think I had 28 unexcused absences at the end of my senior year, just my senior year. So it was like a whole month of school, basically total.
Yeah.
And we literally would just skip to go practice breakdancing or practice for a show or do whatever, you know. And so the end of the year comes, and you know, they tell me, hey, with 28 unexcused absences, you're not going to graduate. You know, you're not going to be able to walk with your class. So I end up, you know, someone that graduated before me was like, hey, use these doctor's notes. They work for me. So he gives me these doctor's notes, right? I turn them in, and well, actually, before the doctor's notes, I used parent notes to excuse 10 of the absences. So now I'm down to 18 absences. He gives me six doctor's notes to excuse 3 days on each one. So all 18 absences, right?
Mhm.
So I turn them in to my counselor, whatever, and you know, I turn them in. The next day, I come into school, and this is near the end of the senior year. And the guidance counselor's like, "Hey, why don't you come to my office for a little bit?" I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I'll come over." And there was a cop in there. They handcuffed me. They arrest me, and they initially charged me with 12 felonies, six felonies of fraud, and six felonies of forgery. For those doctor's notes, I get thrown into jail and stuff. I was 18 at that time. Um,
Wow.
yeah, so that was crazy. So that's you know, I mean, looking back now, you know, all that breakdancing and stuff, skipping school, it led me to become desperate,
That's
you
right.
know, to try and figure out how to fix it at the end, and
Mhm.
and I ended up getting, you know, locked up. So, and it was only 24 hours. I told my parents, I'm like, leave me in there. I'm good. We'll wait till the court date. There's no way they're gonna keep me in here and keep those charges for just forging doctor's notes to excuse my absences at school. You know, it's not like I was getting prescriptions or forging
Yeah,
checks.
exactly. It's just
You
like,
know, so I'm like, the court date's a month and a half from now. Just let me in here for a little bit. I'll be okay. I was coming up with my workout routines you see in the movies. You know, I'm like, okay, maybe I'll get some good exercise in here or something. You know, but some
mm,
interesting stories in there. But anyway, yeah, they ended up getting the money together. I think it was $120,000 bond. And they had to get with a bail bondsman. You know, I put up collateral, and then
mm.
12,000 in cash got me out of there. So
Wait. $12,000?
$12,000. Yeah, my family all over put that money together to try to get me out of jail. Yeah. So
Wow. I mean, I guess, but the one thing I see is what we're gonna be learning from this, right? I mean, to me, it's like, okay, something happened. What I'm learning from this, my mind, like you were saying. I mean, I'm wired like that, To
yeah,
me, it's
yeah.
like something happened, whatever. But the thing is that that's how a sing is, right? Like
Hmm.
you deep in this stuff and deep in this stuff, you hardest in this thing. Now you have a problem. What are you gonna do now? You need to
Yep.
figure out. You need to figure out how I'm gonna cover this thing.
Yep.
It's kind of like you're
Yep.
trying to cover the sun, right, with one finger, right?
Yeah.
And, and,
Yeah.
and but it's this how deep sand you go into the sand is like how messed up is gonna be, right? The result.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, man. That's how it was. I just kept
Mm.
getting deeper and deeper. One thing that seemed innocent just kept leading to another and another, and
Yeah.
yeah. Um,
So we're talking about is you were 18 years old, right?
yeah.
And you
Hmm.
have that thing in your record already, right? I mean, 18, you're doing all
Yeah.
this stuff, you go in jail, and then your family's gonna be all over around to get to 12,000. Okay.
Yeah.
So you told me that also you were in the gaming situation. You know, I used to
Yeah.
play video game. I used to go crazy with that stuff in the 90s and early 90s. uh,
Uh-huh.
and I used to spend my money. I used to take money from my parents, from my brother, and just to go play over there.
Mm,
And but nowadays it's different because it's internet. You can be I don't know the whole thing, you know, but like you can
yeah.
connect with
People
somebody.
just pay money to watch people play video games. Just sitting them in the chair, watch play video game. You get
My
money for play.
goodness, man! I used to spend like 4 or 5 hours to finish that game,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I remember when I used to put the coin in, the kids around like, please don't, because I need
Mm,
to wait 3 or 4 hours. I'm gonna finish Mario Bros. You know,
yeah.
the whole world. So
That's
tell
fun.
us about your experience.
So yeah. So after that, I had this stuff on my record. I couldn't get a job, right?
Mm.
I couldn't even get a job at McDonald's. I mean, I was like trying to go everywhere. Just kind of a flash forward. I end up getting that expunged from my record. It's off my record, and surprisingly, I end up getting a job at a bank as a personal banker as soon as it's expunged, which is funny. It's
That's
ironic, but anyway, while I was going through that time, I was getting really depressed, man. When you have God in your life and you're going through, and you can't, you're just, I mean, you can't do anything. You're just there in the house, and I end up getting really deep into video games, and I always played, growing up, but
Mhm.
that now that I felt like that was all I could do. So I started playing this game, and it's called, should I even say the name? I don't know. It doesn't matter.
I
Yeah,
don't mind.
Gears,
Me, I don't really. Yeah,
Gears of War is what it was called. It was the first one
yeah.
that came out, and they did an online tournament. And the online tournament, I think it was tens of thousands of people that entered this tournament or whatever. And they flew out. They if you place them with the top 12 in that online tournament, you get flown out to Prague, Czech Republic by Microsoft, and they would film you for an hour special on a gaming channel. And
So,
so,
so there are
go ahead.
thousands of people, right?
Yeah.
There are
Hmm.
thousands of people there, like I want to be, you know, something like that. So what happened after you were playing?
So I placed number seven. I placed number seven in of those people. And then that was online. Placed number seven, and then so they flew, the 12 of us to Prague, Czech Republic for a one-on-one tournament. The top 12 did a one-on-one tournament in Czech Republic. It was in an underground bunker actually in Czech Republic. So again, I find something to make my god, and it's video games, and I just put
Oh,
my all into it, all my energy, and my time, my time and all that, and I'm out there now. I'm doing this tournament, and I placed number three in the world in that game, um, and I come back. Oh, were you gonna say? Were you gonna say something? I
no,
see you.
I think it's great. I mean that's amazing. You know, we're really talking like, wow, are you kidding me? I mean
Yeah.
that's
Well, and see, here's what happened. So I now I think this is my purpose, right? This is my purpose in life now. It's to be this gamer and to do all this stuff. MLG, Major League Gaming was starting to make an appearance. This was in 2000, the end of it was about 2007, and MLG starting to make an appearance and stuff. So I'm like, okay, I need to I need to start a clan, So I started this online gaming clan when I came back, and our record was like really good. I think it was like 87 and 3, 87 wins, 3 losses, and like, but here's the thing, the sacrifice is literally I would wake up, I sometimes wouldn't even eat, and I'd be playing the game and then go to sleep. I mean, that was my life. And playing these games in these tournaments, it's not like you're sitting in AC, you're hanging out, whatever. But when you're playing when you're doing competitive gaming, especially, mean, your heart's beating, adrenaline is rushing every game that you're in. Maybe three of your teammates died. Now it's just you against four people, and now your heart's beating out of your chest. You're sweating even. Like I mean, it feels like you're there almost. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. And so it just took such a toll on me every day. It was so stressful. And I ended up I was like, this isn't worth it. This isn't worth it.
Wow.
What I realized when I became a Christian is, I asked myself this question. I was playing a game, and even when I became Christian, I would play like recreationally once in a while, and I was playing this game, and there's this player that I couldn't kill. I was trying to kill this guy, and I kept chasing him around and all that stuff, and I couldn't get him. Every time I tried, I couldn't get him, and I was so angry. And I had such a strong desire to kill this player. And it made me realize, I asked myself this question, and God, I feel like the Holy Spirit spoke to me in that moment. It was like, Eric, what's the difference between your desire to kill here and in real life? Is there a difference? Is that desire the same? You know what I mean? Like, and I know that might be maybe stretching it for some people, but for me, I'm like, I don't want to have a desire to kill anyone, even if it's a video game person. You know what I'm saying? It's still that desire is there. That wanting to kill. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, no, I can't have that anymore. I got rid of all my systems, all my games. I stopped playing. But
Wow. Right.
yeah,
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 because let me tell you, I used to play video games. Like I was hardcore. I mean, I know there was not internet and all the stuff, but I remember those days that sometimes and you like, I passed this level. Like it's so easy. Like I know like what's going on. Maybe the computer came in, more power or something like that. You get upset and you say bad words.
yeah. You get angry,
I
right?
mean, you know what I'm talking about? Like,
Yeah, yeah. You get angry, or when you go through a whole game. Oh, this was the worst feeling. I hated this feeling.
mm,
You go through a whole game like you're at the last level, and then the game erases, and it's like that. Like you get like depressed, like legit sad. Like,
you want to
and I'm
punch the TV or something.
yeah, right. It's like
Oh,
it's like I just it had too much control over my emotions. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
I didn't like that. I didn't
yeah,
like that.
yeah,
Um, and that's why I got rid of it. But that was my. I know
mm,
people have different opinions and stuff like that.
yeah.
That's my conviction. That's my experience, and that's
Hmm.
what I chose to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
So, so you were Christian, you were playing video games, and
yeah,
then I mean, the Holy Spirit, of course, it was working in your life and says that you know what, this isn't a good feeling. I mean, I don't want to kill anybody. No, I mean, you get rid of it,
yeah,
all that stuff.
right.
So after that, you decided, you know what, I'm gonna come up with something to come up with SALT Ministry outreach,
Yeah.
or how
So
you come up with the idea after being walked with the Lord, and he said, you know what, my God, before it was breakdancing, go clubs and all stuff, and the sin take me to the jail. And now my God, video game, that desire about killing and all stuff, man, I don't want that. So what is next?
yeah. So I end up. I mean, this is I won't go too deep into this, but this was after that whole gaming experience, and I stopped. I was like, I got to figure out how to work or how to do something. You know what I mean?
Mm,
So I ended up finding a commission only kind of job, and they were able to take me even with my record. There was kind of like a loophole in a way for me to do it, and this was the only thing I could do. So I'm like, okay, this is my next thing. This is my purpose. This is what I'm supposed to do. And I started doing that, and I end up becoming like one of the top salespeople, and I'm doing these weekly trainings for like 4 different offices in the area, and And eventually there's an opportunity for me to open an office in another state. So that state was Illinois. So I ended up going to Illinois,
Mhm.
driving to Illinois, and I'm supposed to. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't know what I was thinking, but I thought I could open another office in like 2 weeks to a month. And I was out there for 6 months, and I didn't have the money to be out there for 6 months. You know what I mean? So I ended up becoming homeless
Ooh.
2 weeks after being there, and because I was so stubborn. And again, now this is my God. This is what I'm putting all my effort, all my passion, my strength into. I'm living in my car and going to taking showers at 7-Eleven, and and that's not really a shower. I'm just using the sink. You know what I mean?
Ooh, yeah.
And I'm going to the Mexican restaurants, eating the free chips and salsa before, the free chips and salsa you get beforehand, eating that and then leaving because I don't have money to pay for food, you know what I mean? And if I had money, I'd go to Panera Bread and I'd get a piece of bread and load it up with tons of that free butter to try and get the calories.
Mm.
And I would be wearing a suit and tie, and I'd be in these places meeting with people trying to make this office still work. And and I'm out there, man, 6 months, and some of those months were during the winter in Chicago, and it was one of the, at that time, one of the worst experiences I've had to go through.
Mhm.
But honestly, man, I had a family here in Florida. I could have driven back, you know what I mean? But, working with the unsheltered population, that happens sometimes, you know what I mean? Like there's a sense of pride, there's a sense of, I don't want to go back home with my tail behind my legs. Like I came out here to
Mhm.
do something and I'm going
Yeah.
to I'm going to do it. And anyway, so I experienced homelessness there, and that experience, man, was a cornerstone. It laid embedded itself in my memory, and when I became a Christian, God just used that as fuel
Mm.
for me to help start salt. So, and
Man.
that's when we started in September of 2011. And it started with just I was became a Christian in May of 2010, an Adventist Christian. I was baptized.
Mm.
And yeah, and then September 2011, we got it off the ground and started operating. You know what I mean? And
Mm.
God's been working a lot through it since then. So yeah,
Wow. So you have a little, well, not little. I mean, 6 months is 6 months, man. I mean, even 1 week homeless to be out there and you don't know
yeah,
what's going on. I mean, you have a taste of being homeless.
right,
And plus with no money, I mean, any money. Sorry, my
yeah,
my wife always told me it's bad English. It's any money, no
right,
money.
right.
So with any money, so you were going places, yeah, you don't have any money, stuff like that, and uh, I'm sure he was very, I mean, terrified. You know what I'm saying? Like what is your next meal, or when I'm gonna
Yeah,
go meal? I mean, take a shower and everything. So you started this ministry with more people or stuff like that, and please tell us, because I'm gonna be sharing right now. I'm gonna be sharing the website right now, and you can tell us, because it's service and love together.
right,
Uh, uh, Come on, tell me about it.
yeah. So Salt Outreach, we run a mobile drop-in center for people experiencing homelessness. So drop-in centers are usually places, they're buildings where people can go, and in that building, someone experiencing homelessness can get a shower, laundry, case management. They can get mail services, things like that. um, so the difference between us and a drop-in center like that is that we're on wheels. So we have a shower trailer, we have a laundry trailer, we have a clothing and hygiene trailer, we do haircuts, we do food, we do mail storage, charging stations. We also do case management, mental health counseling, and spiritual care. And we started this, man, in 2011 with just a few volunteers. our outreach with the unsheltered was just a few volunteers feeding 10 to 15 people. And now we have, 27 employees operating, Sunday through Thursday, 9 to 5, 40-hour weeks. And we have some other locations in other areas. And God's really, man, He's really increased our capacity. And it's really because the need is growing, you know.
Mm.
We really should be working ourselves out of a job.
Wow,
You know
that
what I mean?
showers,
To work.
trailer showers. Wow.
Yeah, so that's the trailer. That's it's our friend Richie going in. Actually, Richie kind of share his story. He came and started seeing us in June of last year. That's him doing his laundry now. So he when we met him in June of last year, he was already experiencing homelessness for about 2 years.
Wow.
Um, we kind of, relationship is key in what we do.
Mm.
We believe relationship's key to helping end homelessness. We developed a relationship with him and a friendship, a genuine friendship, and we got him connected. He wanted to go to our group Bible studies first, so he started coming to our group Bible studies. Then he started doing one-on-one Bible studies. And then our pastors, we have two pastors on staff. So our pastors referred him over to our case management team. They helped him get a job. He ended up moving into his own place around New Year's, this past New Year's. And then 2 weeks later, our pastors and some of our donors put furniture together and filled up his apartment with furniture because all he had was an air mattress.
Mm.
And uh, and then a month later, in mid-February, he texts us and he's like, "You'll never guess what happened. I got promoted at my job.
Mm.
How can I give back? And now he started to volunteer with us and stuff like that.
Amen.
So yeah, he's. I mean, man, it's so interesting. A lot of the people who we help end homelessness for, it starts with the spiritual care side. It starts with them maybe walking into a group Bible study, or
Mm.
doing a one-on-one study, and not all of them. Some people just go straight to our case management and they'll help them. But but even then, our case managers are very in tune, with, and they'll pray with their clients and things like that. And like honestly, man, a lot of people experiencing homelessness, they just lost that hope. They don't believe. I mean, when you're in a hole that's so deep that you can't climb out of on
Yeah.
your own, it's like eventually you just kind of stop fighting. I
Yeah.
mean,
You're right.
what else are you gonna do? You know what I mean? And like when they find out that there is someone that not only will throw a rope down to help them climb up,
Yeah.
but will actually come down that rope and climb up with them, that's when um, they feel that support, and that hope again. And they're like, maybe I can get out of this. You know what I'm saying? When that hope is ignited again, man, in someone's life, it does something. It does something,
Sure.
man. Yeah. No one wants to be homeless. I know
Of course.
people. I hear that all the time. Oh yeah, they just want to be homeless. It's like no,
Yeah.
no one wants to be homeless. There was a guy one time where on property that I forgot what the conversation was about, but he's like, yeah, yeah, I want to be here. I want to be homeless. I'm, I'm good here. Blah blah blah. And he's like talking about how his life is good or whatever. A
Mm.
week later, we pass by him, and he drops all his belongings on the ground, and he starts
Mm.
to cry. And he's like, man, I told you I didn't want to be homeless. I know I said that, but honestly, I mean, I want to be homeless, but
Mm.
honestly, I don't want to be here. I mean,
Mm.
who would want to be outside?
Yeah.
Like living outside, being exposed to the elements, waking up every 30 minutes because a bug crawls on you, or you hear a horn on a car, or a
Mm-hmm.
light flashes in your eye, or you're afraid of your stuff getting stolen. I mean,
Yeah.
who wants to live a life like that? If you and sorry, I'm going off now, but
Nope. Go ahead.
um, but like we talk about mental illness and homelessness. Um, yes, there are some people that experience homelessness that have mental illness.
Mm.
Um, but I believe if you become homeless and you don't have mental illness, you will eventually get it, because living on the street, it does something. It does something to you, man. No one deserves to be on the street.
Mm.
So, yeah. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, you and your team doing an amazing job. I just want to say thank you
Praise
for
God.
your hard work. Of course, God, all the glory to Him. But
Hmm.
let me tell you, we are the feet of Jesus, right? We are
Hmm.
hands and our feet of Jesus. And
Yep.
you and your team really take this seriously. Even though there's somebody experienced before, right? Or somebody's like, you know what? I never experienced, but you know what? I don't really want to be homeless, but I want to help. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to help. I want to smile to somebody. Somebody's homeless. I want to bring that smile to their lives, right?
Right.
And
Right.
let me tell you, uh, I see 4 locations. Can you tell us about that? You have 4 locations to help the
Yes.
homeless in the street.
Yeah. So we have the Daytona
Orlando,
Park.
Tampa, Daytona, and
Yeah. So
Sanford.
we have a downtown location. That's our main location. That's our 40-hour a week one, and then we have a Sanford location, which is 30 minutes north of Orlando.
Okay.
That one we're operating once a week. We're getting ready to ramp up there, maybe to 2 3 times a week. And we have a branch in Tampa. We call it SALT Outpost. We go out there once a month. Uh, and there's a big need there too, man. And then we have some satellite branches, one in San Diego, another one in San Francisco area, um,
Mm,
that we're working on, because there are people that reach out to us and say, hey, we want to duplicate this, and
seriously.
so we've created a model where people can create capacity for
Mm,
SALT to support them, and so that's kind of what that outpost program's about.
that's great. So I see something over here that says from August 2020 through March 2022, it says move to housing and divert to housing. Can you explain to us what it is? Because I don't know.
Yeah, so so that was a study we did. We wanted to see how, how are these services making a difference? You know what I mean? And so, just to kind of explain, move to housing. Move to housing means that someone got into a permanent living situation in their own like
Mm.
a home or an apartment, or rent got a room somewhere, and it's
After
a
you guys
permanent.
help them.
Yeah,
Okay.
right, right. We were involved in helping that group,
Cool.
and then
Wow.
diverted to housing means that they utilize their we help them to utilize their own resources to find housing. So, for example, we might sit down with somebody and they might say, "Oh, I have a sister in Montana that I
Mhm,
haven't talked to in a while, but
mhm.
I know she'd probably let me stay with her." We work on that linkage. We'll call the sister and we'll connect them and get them over to his sister so that they could be off the street. So yeah, so during that time period from August of 2020 and March of 2022, we found out we were involved in helping end homelessness for over 1,000 people during that time.
Wow.
And so that's not necessarily us every time directly doing it ourselves,
Mhm.
but that means that we had involvement in all of their stories. You know what I'm saying? We may, on average, we had to each of those 1,000 people, we provided uh, uh, on average, 5 showers, 4 loads of laundry, a haircut, and 2 case management appointments. Those are kind of the most common things that we've seen across each of them.
Okay.
But drop-in center services, they make a difference, man, and we have a data team to help substantiate that. You know what I mean? Because I mean, it's hard sometimes. Like, oh, how is this shower helping to end homelessness? Well, we can actually tell a story with the data on how it does. You know what I mean? So yeah,
I mean, a shower for a homeless. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's like paradise, bro.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I
Right.
mean, I was not like been, homeless like that, but it's like wow. So, question: what about volunteers? I mean, do you accept volunteers to come and help for the weekend, or a doctor? I mean, I don't know what kind of. Do you have a? If a doctor say, "Hey, I want to support something," or
Yeah, we have
dentist or something.
doctors. We have a partner. They have a sovereign immunity here in Florida, so no liability for any doctors or nurses or whoever want to volunteer. But yeah, doctors will volunteer through that partner organization of ours, and
Uh-huh.
then we'll get them connected because we bring our clients out to their dental clinic once a month, and
Mm.
they have a mobile medical clinic that provides primary care. So we help connect them with that as well. But yeah, we take volunteers all the time, man.
Wow.
We last year I think we had about 400 different volunteers, not including
Wow.
like the different groups that came through.
Yeah.
So we're always needing volunteers. We
Yeah.
don't have enough staff to keep up with the need.
Yeah.
So some things just get put on the back burner because we just don't have the capacity.
Wow.
But always looking for people. Yeah.
Wow. If I don't know, if I had the opportunity, man, I would love to be volunteer.
Yeah, man.
A few times a month you go there and support, and this is great. I mean, whoever is watching in Florida and Tampa and Orlando and different places, I mean, go there and bless other people, and be part of the SALT outreach program. I think it's great. I mean, just to see the all the services the SALT is providing the homeless. I mean, mail service, uh, doing the laundry, and they dry it to you too, and the washing, take a shower and all the. I'm sure it's a lot. I mean, to me, it's amazing. Wow.
Yeah, each of those services, man, they started organically. It's all
Mm,
about finding a need. Like
yeah.
we started with food. We did surveys. We're
Yeah.
like, let's ask them what they need. The surveys told us clothing and
Yeah.
hygiene was the next logical step. We want to start offering
Hmm.
clothing and hygiene.
Yeah.
We did surveys again. We found out over half of them were actively looking for work and
Mhm.
going on job interviews.
Wow.
But some people going on job interviews hadn't showered in 3 to 7 days.
Uh-huh.
And there was even one person that was going on job interviews that hadn't showered in 3 months. It's like there's no way they're gonna,
Mm.
they're
Yeah.
gonna be able to get off the street
Yeah.
and find a job, because that's what I think a lot of,
Hmm.
I think there could be some people that are like, oh well, they just need to go find a job,
Yeah.
and it's like, well, I would like anyone to try and find a job when you don't have access to a
Hmm.
shower, when you don't have access to clean clothing,
Mm.
when you don't have an address to put on your job application,
Yeah.
when you don't have a phone for them to call you back on, when you don't have transportation and you have to take 3 hours to go,
Mm.
3 hour bus ride to just get, what would take you 30 minutes in a car. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's and to be sleeping on the street every night on top of that. It's
Yeah.
like, how is anyone going to find a job and keep a job like that? I mean,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
We're trying to do what we can to support people because right now the shelters are full,
Mm.
housing's full, and there's no other options right now for people,
Yeah.
unfortunately. I mean, we've been seeing kids, pregnant women, elderly people, youth. I mean, you name it, man. We've
Yeah.
seen it out there. The worst case I saw
Hmm.
was a pregnant woman. What she was not just any pregnant woman. She was pregnant with triplets.
Wow.
She had two twin girls, 4 years old, and she was escaping domestic violence, and she was sleeping in her car. Like, and all the shelters were full, so there wasn't even anywhere she could go. Like, we ended up, and we're so thankful for our donors, man, because
I know.
like honestly, they make such a big difference, and like
Praise God.
because of our donors, we were able to get that person, and help with another grant as well. We were able
Mm.
to get that person into an extended stay hotel,
Wow.
and for 3 months while she gave birth, she had her kids. She had time to strategize and figure out
Hmm.
like what to do, and our case managers continued to work with her. But man, like, I mean, I could just name off so many
Yeah.
crazy cases. Like, it's crazy. Yeah,
Mm. Amen.
yeah,
But the cool thing is that if you're not able to be in person to right to be a volunteer and help and everything, uh, I just went to. I mean, you guys can go. You guys can watch it right now. Donate to this ministry. I'm not kidding you. My brother didn't ask me to share this. I just saw and I said we need to help this ministry. Even you can donate stocks. I mean, praise the Lord. I mean, you know what I'm saying? There
Oh,
are
the stock
501.
the stock donation expired. Sorry,
Okay.
I
Okay.
got to take that off. We don't have a web designer right now, but we're gonna get that taken off soon. Yeah, right.
Okay. So never
But
mind.
thank
No
you.
more stocks. So
Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, don't donate stocks. But I appreciate you mentioning that, man. I mean,
yeah.
honestly, like don't our donors.
Mhm.
If it wasn't for our donors, man, we there's no way we would
Mm,
be where we are right now. We
yeah.
wouldn't be helping this many people, and
Mhm.
every donation makes a difference, man. So yeah, I appreciate you mentioning that.
Yeah, yeah, totally. And there are 501c3 nonprofit organizations. So if you're a company up there and something like that, you want to help and you want a taxes return and all, all of that, they're able to do that. So bless somebody, bless SALT Outreach Ministry, so they can bless other people too. Uh, I'm gonna ask you this final, maybe two questions. I'm gonna ask you
Okay.
this. I didn't ask you. Wait, this is a live show, guys. Can you share with us your favorite Bible verse? Maybe
mm,
you have many. You can read it if you want. You can take your time. You don't
yeah,
have to like memorize it.
yeah.
But a
Well,
verse that is it's gonna they help you, and maybe it goes with you. Like
so this is one of the first Bible verses I committed to memory because,
mm,
um, you know, the word says to hide my word in your heart that you might not sin against me, right? So like I'm
mm,
like, okay, like let me hide some words, the word in my heart, right? And so
yeah,
I memorized some verses early on um in my walk, and
mhm,
one of them was 1 Corinthians 10:13.
mm,
But no temptation has overtaken you except such as is common to man, but God is faithful, will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able, but instead will give you a way of escape that you may
amen,
be able to bear it.
amen,
And it's that one, man, was really important for me to memorize early on my walk,
mm,
man. God will bring that to memory. Just remind you,
mhm,
like God will help you overcome um, all those things that you're struggling with. And like
mm,
when I first come into the faith, and anybody, I think like when you first get baptized and brought into the faith, it's like, I think the expectation is like, oh yeah, I'm good, I'm changed now, like, you know what I
mhm,
mean, like all that stuff before, that's in the past, and maybe that goes on for a while,
mhm,
but sanctification's a process, right? It takes time.
yeah,
Um you might fall again, you might fall into some of those same temptations and those sins,
mm,
and like, knowing that, that God can help you um overcome those things in the moment is really important. So that's
amen,
probably I think that might be one of my favorites. Yeah.
amen. Hey, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
So your final question, I'm gonna ask you if it's possible. Share with us your final thoughts. Your final thoughts of how you grew up, how was teenager years. It was crazy, and how the Lord came into your life.
Mm.
And now what you're doing in ministry, you were homeless, you were in jail, you were and the god of gaming and dancing. And your final thoughts, maybe somebody out there is going through a very hard time, maybe going through a very same situation, and just giving some encouraging words of your final
Y-
thoughts about all your testimony, what you live.
yeah, I would say that, man, it's been a journey, man. um I think my final thoughts would be that, and man, it's like I'm like soaking everything up that we just talked about, and like trying to bring that all together. And honestly, before I became a Christian, man, all those things I went through, when I became a Christian, I realized how they could help me in the walk. You know what I mean? How it could help me to minister to other people and bring other people hope. I can talk to other people that have been arrested before. I can have conversations with people that are like, what that have made gaming like their god, or I can relate to other people that are in the hip hop scene or the breakdancing scene, and like, God has a purpose for everybody, and honestly, that was my journey. I was trying to find my purpose. You know what I mean? And God made it very clear to me that what I'm doing right now with Salt is exactly where He wants me to be, and I'm 100% sure, no doubt about it. There is no, like, if I hit an obstacle, like, oh well, maybe this isn't what God wanted me to do. No, that doesn't enter my mind. It's like, I'm 100%. It's just a speed bump. I go over it. Okay, well, God, you're gonna figure it out, because this is where you have me. You know what I mean? And so I think, what I had to do to get there was pray for confirmation, and I prayed for confirmation, man, 10, 11, 12 times, like, for God to reveal to me what it is He wanted me to do with my life, and God will confirm it 10, 11, 12 times. You know what I mean? There's no limit on how many times God will confirm something to you. And if it takes that many times to nail in your head that this is 100% what He wants you to do, then do it. Because whenever you even let just a percent, a 1% of doubt enter in, when you're going for your purpose, and working toward your purpose, then it could be enough. The enemy could use it to turn you totally around. You know what I mean? Um, so I don't know. I guess that would be my final thoughts is, um, if you don't know where God has called you yet, He knows exactly where He wants you to be.
Mm.
Keep praying, keep seeking Him, do what you got to do. I mean, I was fasting. I mean, I was, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like,
Yeah, seek the
you
Lord,
just,
right?
you got to get in there. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
get in there, man. Go deep,
Amen.
and He will reveal it to you. No doubt in my mind, He will
Mm.
reveal it to you. And when you're there and you're 100% sure, man, the freedom that comes with that is just amazing. So,
Amen.
yeah.
Amen. Thank you so much, brother, for being here, and just be blessed, sharing your story and all the stuff that you and your team, because it's not just one person. You and your team is bringing us together, and also the volunteers that are
Mm,
helping, and the people that are donating in
yes.
this ministry on
It's not
SALT.
possible without all of them, man. All of us, we work together like a body. We're
Amen.
one body. We all have our roles. We all have our parts,
Yeah.
and it gets the job done by God's grace. So, yeah.
Amen. Awesome. Awesome. Uh, Thank you so much for your time. Seriously, I appreciate it. Hearing Joe's be blessed, sharing your story. Please don't hang up. I'm gonna finish this video, okay?
Okay.
All right. Okay, you guys. I hope you were blessed. Seriously, brother Eric Camarillo testimony. What a crazy story, right? But let me tell you, God can change all these problems and all these situations that we go through life. But let me tell you, He can turn the opportunity for something, for a blessing, not just for in our life, but to share with other people God's love. Take, please go to, it's going to be in the description of this video. Go to SALT Outreach website, come to know more about it. Go over there and please help them and donating, and also be part of this ministry if you in Florida area. Okay, thank you so much for hanging out here with me. But before that, I'm gonna show to you that we have today is 160 videos for people sharing their testimonies and their stories. So please take advantage. Go there and watch it. Share with your friends and family. Seriously, we go live. We have left the messages, different things, and just to people be blessed. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like this video. You know how that works. And if you want to support our ministry here to make more videos like this, become a partner here and just be blessed through Patreon. And you know how it works. There's a lot of links in the description of this video, different ways of how to support our ministry here and just be blessed. Thank you so much for being here. This is a live show, and my name is Alex Castillejos, and we'll see you next week with another powerful testimony. Bye-bye.